All right, ladies and gentlemen, it is time for the pre-market pulse wave report with yours truly, the Algo capitalist, aka the Vulcan, coming to you live from pulsewavetrading.com, home of the world famous Pulse Wave Price Trigger reports. So, hopefully, everyone had a good night's sleep and you're ready to start another day in the wild, wild west, aka the global economy. What up, Russell from Nova Scotia? Smash that like button for me. Quick announcement. So, if you are not aware, okay, we have new shows, new setup, all that good stuff that we are bringing to you. Our end of day post wave report that you know and love so much is now being hosted on Rumble. All right. And you can find the links in the descriptions of this video below. So, in case you are wondering what happened, you missed the last couple reports, go to Rumble, follow us on Rumble, Post Wave Trading on Rumble, and the links are in the video. So, our morning show for now, we're going to do here on YouTube still, but our evening show, we've moved over to Rumble. Now, you're probably wondering, why would you do that? Why are you moving around? Well, it's because of the censorship. There's so many normal words in the English language that have now been deemed offensive. You know, words like good morning, hello, how are you? Isn't it a lovely day? That's a very cute baby you have there. All those things are considered either racist or they're just considered unacceptable. So, because of that, we have moved, um, we've migrated over to Rumble. Eventually, everything we do will pretty much be on Rumble because of the censorship. Rumble allows you to speak normal English language. They're not offended by the English language. Go figure. So let's get into what's happening in these overnight markets. As you know, a slew of government reports this week. This morning at 8:30 a.m. Eastern Standard New York time, we had the jobless claims numbers, and that's already done. And then at 10 o'clock, let's see what we got here. I think it's what the GDP revision we had also at 8:30. We got pending home sales at 10 o'clock. So that's what that is. Tomorrow at 8:30, we got personal income, personal spending, PCE index, PCE core index. So that's all tomorrow. This week has been pretty busy with these. Then you got advanced U.S. trade balance goods. You got advanced retail inventories, advanced wholesale inventory, Chicago business barometer. And then at 10 o'clock tomorrow, you got the consumer sentiment, the final consumer sentiment. I know it's just a lot going on, isn't it? Sometimes it can be difficult. It can be hard to keep up with everything that's going on because there's so much going on at any one given time. All right. So here's how the markets are shaping up in the overnight. So as far as the US dollar index, it's still deep in the 106 handle, got up to 106.83 last night, down 26 pips now at 106.39. You got the euro up 23 at 105.68. You got all the way down to 105.26, threatening to go into the 104 handle. I tried to tell you it's going to drop below par. Pound sterling is now at 121.91, up 48 pips. You got the Aussie up 42 pips at 64.13. It did get low. It got low in the overnight, got down to 63.62. Bitcoin future is up 265 at 26,515, holding that 26,000 line. Ethereum futures are up 28 at six. Well, I would say we'll call it $1,625. Crude oil down 74 cents a barrel at $92.94 per barrel. It spiked up to $95.03 in the overnight market, folks. Yeah, quite the pullback from that spike high. And you know what that means. If the market were to close, settle here today, that will create a massive bullish pointer, as you know. Looking at nat gas, up 3 at $2.93. We got gold up about, we'll call it a buck 40 at $1,892.20 per ounce, which is below the 1900 support threshold, which has now been breached, violated, vacated. And if we get another close below that 1900 today, that will spell, let's just say, evil tidings for the metal. Silver is up 8 cents at $22.81 per ounce. That's right, still below 23. And it's on its way, folks, to cracking the $22 support threshold. If that happens, it's a quick slide to the teens. Copper is up 6 at $3.70. We got the Dow futures down 18 at 33,773. The market did get down to 33,705 in the overnight market. That's right, folks. About to break into the 33,600. S&P 500 down 5 at 4308 and a quarter. Got as low as 4302, so not bad. But it's off the overnight highs of 4328. Just like the Dow is off the overnight highs of 33,895. NASDAQ down 41 at 14,698. It did hit a overnight high of 14,794 though, so it's off substantially from the overnight highs. Russell is up a half a point at 1793 half. Overnight highs was 1801.80 and the lows is 1786 even. Soybeans off 8 at $12.94 a bushel. Corn off 1.5 at $4.81 a bushel, and your wheat is off by 2 at $5.77 per bushel. Your bond futures are off 23/30 seconds at 112 and 25/30 seconds. Yep, you're to the 112 handle now on your bonds. So that's a look at what has been happening in the overnight markets. So what's on deck for today? Well, JP Morgan's Jamie Dimon flags his biggest concern for the world. In tech, we got Tom Brady and Kendall Jenner, which could be the inspiration for your future AI assistant. And in business, we have a company that embraced the 4-day work week, made these critical changes. But first, drugs for sale. That's right. Drug dealing is not illegal as long as you have the government's permission to do so. When searching for illegal drugs, government agencies aren't where most people think to start. But you wouldn't know that by looking on Google. Pages advertising illegal drugs hosted on websites for government agencies, businesses, and nonprofits feature prominently in Google searches. It's all thanks to a loophole made possible by a recent change in how the search engine giant indexes web content, writes Insider's Catherine Long. In simple terms, many websites' internal search functions create a new permanent web page for every unique search a user enters. Previously, that wasn't an issue since these web pages never appeared in Google searches because website owners restricted Google from indexing them. However, Google recently said its automated web crawler could automatically discern which user-generated pages should appear in searches. But as Catherine's reporting details, that hasn't been the case. The result is people using internal search functions to create web pages advertising drugs on websites viewed as trustworthy by Google. Insider identified more than 4 dozen websites, including hijacked ones through the loophole. So, the key takeaway here is what we've been sounding the alarm for quite a while. While you were sleeping and not paying attention, guess what? They changed the internet on you. Yeah. Did you catch that? Google stated that their automated web crawler automatically can discern which user generated pages should appear in searches, which means that if Google doesn't like you, you're not going to appear in the searches. That's right. They scrub the internet and they have indexed pretty much everyone who they don't like into the black hole abyss of search engines, meaning that you're never going to get found. Unless people know your actual web address, they're never going to find you. They've made it almost impossible to do research. That's right. It's not the same internet. It used to be really simple to pull up information that you were searching for, but not anymore. Now, the only thing that comes up is the government approved narrative websites. And it starts off with anything associated with the federal government. Isn't that interesting? In other news, if all of this seems shocking, understand you're not alone. Web administrators seem entirely in the dark as well. Go figure. The CEO of one company whose website was exploited was blindsided. What in the HE double hockey sticks? He texted an insider reporter upon hearing the news. What's even more unsettling is the type of websites some of these people are using to advertise, including those meant to aid people with addiction problems, Catherine pointed out. The Australian Alcohol and Drug Foundation, an anti drug abuse nonprofit, and Narcanon, a narcotics addiction treatment program, were among the sites defaced with contact info for drug dealers. In the markets, people are bummed out about the economy. No, you don't say. U.S. consumer confidence dropped to a 4-month low in September, according to the Conference Board. And student loan payments resuming next month won't help consumer spending power. Nope, talking about putting a dent in your wallet, that's more like a giant gaping hole. Jamie Dimon flags his biggest concerns. The JP Morgan CEO said that Russia-Ukraine war and its impact on global relations is the top threat to the world. The event, he said, could be an inflection point for the free democratic world. Yeah, that's basically gibberish for, you know, since you guys refused to do what we wanted you to do, we're going to drag this on as long as possible to hurt the economy even more. The housing market has hit rock bottom. That's according to Redfin CEO Glenn Kelman, who warned things can't get much worse from here. High mortgage rates and high prices have crushed affordability for buyers, and the sales slowdown is bound to last a long time. Emphasis on the word long. In tech news, celebs like Tom Brady and Kendall Jenner could be your new AI assistant. Meta unveiled its new roster of AI assistants. Former NBA basketball player Dwayne Wade, for example, plays the role of AI assistant Victor, who can put together a workout plan and help users stay motivated in reaching their fitness goals. The massive debate over using ChatGPT for therapy. Employees of ChatGPT's parent company, OpenAI, celebrated feeling heard and warm after talking with the chatbot. But AI ethics banded together to voice concern over this type of usage and warned about the harm this could cause. You know, we keep talking about AI, and I'm going to keep saying this. AI is not God. AI is not omnipresent. It's not omnipotent. all right? And it's not omniscient. It is limited to the range and scope and the parameters in its coding made by fallible men, all right? It's only as smart as the people who designed it and programmed it to be. All right. It does not have self or wellness. It does not have the breath of life in it. All right. It cannot be intellectual. It does not have feelings and emotions. No matter how contrived they try to program and create fake emotions, it has no empathy or sympathy. It cannot love. It cannot feel love. It cannot receive love. Therefore, it cannot give love. It cannot pray for you. It cannot do anything for you. AI is just a glorified calculator, just like computers are. And I really enjoy using computers because they really are good at crunching my data. And that's what I need them for, crunching data, parsing data. But to say the computer needs to think for me, no, 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 no. You don't understand. You are de facto giving all your power away to corporations. Who is behind the AI? You think angels came down out of heaven and said, we want to gift man with this thing called AI? AI is not manna from heaven. AI is going to give the large corporations and shadow government entities full control and power over your everyday life. That's why they've been conditioning you, preconditioning you cognitively. Everywhere you turn, everywhere you look, everywhere you hear, you're hearing about the amazing abilities of AI and robotics. That's all you're hearing. Cars, self-driving planes, self-driving trucks, AI TV, AI refrigerator, AI smartphones, you know, AI automatic weapons. AI is going to be in everything. Everything is going to be quote unquote smart. Let's define the word smart. Smart is just the embodiment of information that has the ability to be compartmentalized and parsed. That's all intelligence is. It means information, having and containing information, whether that information is useful or harmful, positive or negative, good or bad, disinformation, misinformation, wrong information, downright lies of information. That's all it is. Information is not wisdom. That's the problem and the limitations of your AI. All right. AI is not the answer, folks, but it's their solution to control you even more. All of the functions that you are used to are now about to be given to AI. AI for everything. Have you even noticed? I'm talking to all the frogs out there who have been in this boiling pot for decades, not realizing that the temperature has been gradually rising. You see, it started off with if you needed to talk to someone, you got out of the bed, put your clothes and shoes on, walked outside the door to go visit the person you wanted to talk to. You had to get on a horse, or you would have to hoof it, or ride a donkey or a mule or a camel. All right. And for those so inclined, maybe you ride a grizzly bear or a panda, but you were going to ride something or you were going to walk. And that's what you did when you needed to communicate with someone. That was before the postal service. That was before the telegraph. That was before telephones. Notice the gradual getting away from normal human interaction and behaviors. When you wanted to talk to your neighbor, you went and knocked on your neighbor's door. But everything evolved. We started getting mail service. Now, if you Want to reach someone that's far away without having to travel to get there, you just send a letter, write a letter. Then the telegraph, send a telegram. Then the telephone, you pick up the telephone, operator answers, which is normally someone on roller skates. And that was a big to do. Then now you got the computer age came into play. Now you got portable telephones. So no longer needing a human being at the operator. All that now was digitized. Then you went from that to computers, and now you had email. So now you can send an email to someone, which is faster than regular mail. Then you had online chatting and face-to-face chatting. Everything has evolved and changed. Now you don't have to talk to anyone at all. You can let your AI assistant do all of that stuff for you. Yeah. Some of you probably weren't even aware of it. When you call to make a doctor's appointment, you think you're talking to a human being, a receptionist, and you've been talking to an AI. Now they had that a long time ago. Yeah, that's way old news. All right, they had that decades ago. You thought you was talking to a person, you was talking to a computer, and it didn't sound like a computer either. It sounded like a regular person. Yep, that technology already existed. So things have evolved slowly. And that's the same thing now in other segments of your reality. When you wanted a job, you had to go to that business, and you had to go to human resources, and you had to fill out a job application, which was pen and paper. Then all that changed. All right. They used to call it beating the street, beating the pavement. And you would spend all day going from company to company filling out job applications, right? Then that changed. Now you don't go into a company to my, yeah, I would like to fill out a job application and y'all hiring. Nope, everything's going online now. You go to the company that you are interested in working for, and nope, they direct you to their website. You're not even handled by a human being anymore. Everything is done by the website. Everything is done by AI and algorithms, which determine if you even get accepted for the job or even contacted for an interview. Everything's done on the computer. Oh, and it's not just, fill out your job application on this computer. Oh, no, it doesn't stop there. No, now you have to take all these mental tests. That's right. You got to take these psychological tests. They put you through the ringer. And then if you pass all the psychological exams, then now they say, okay, the final step is now we got to do a background check. Now we got to pull your file. We got to look at your tri-merge credit report, because that's going to let us know if you've been a good boy or good girl, or if you've been naughty. It's going to show criminal record. If you've been convicted of felonies, it's going to show. If you owe back child support, it's going to show. If someone has sued you and you got judgments against you, it's going to show. If you've ever been late with your mortgage, or you're in the foreclosure process with your mortgage, it's going to show. If you've ever been evicted by your landlord in a rental, it's going to show. That's right. All of your skeletons are on your tri-merge credit report, and that's super old news. That's grandfather old news. That's not today. That's back then. Oh, it's even more advanced now. Now, while you're online filling out the job application, taking the psychological battery of exams, and then pulling all of your tri-merge reports, they don't stop there. Now they go and they automatically look at all your social media posts. They got AI that will go comb through every social media post, every post you've ever done in your life, every video that you've liked, every post you've liked, every website you've ever visited, everything about you. everything. Who your mama is, who your daddy is, who your neighbors are, where you went to school, who your teachers are, who your classmates are. And that's just the beginning. Now, the database is going to search your local database where you live. It's going to contact the sheriff's office. It's going to look for if you've been naughty. Does the sheriff have files on you? Does the local police department have files on you? And then it goes, now it's going federal. Does the FBI have files on you? Oh, that's not enough. Now we got to go to Interpol. Does Interpol have files on you? Are you on the federal do not fly list? Are you on any kind of federal watch list? Are you a terrorist organization sympathizer? There's not going to stop there. Now it's going to see, are you registered to vote? What party are you affiliated with? Well, the company that you're applying to is all blue. All right, it's Crip. All right, the company you're applying to, they Crip, straight Crippin' over there. They blue, they Democratic, and you got on a little bit too much red for their liking. You're a registered Republican. You are blood. And as far as they're concerned, when you came into the office, i.e., online to fill out that job application, you were flamed up. So now it's on site when they see your application. Guess what? Denied. You passed everything else, believe it or not, by the skin of your teeth. You passed that psychological survey thing, battery of tests they put you through. For those that don't know what I'm talking about, because maybe you've never had those kind of jobs or whatever, or never had a security clearance or had to go through any of that stuff. Well, these psychological tests, they're very belittling and they're very condescending, and it's a mind game. All right. So they'll ask you questions like, all right, for those of you who work at the airport, you know what I'm talking about. Questions like this: have you ever breached the cockpit of a flight? Yeah, that's an actual question. Have you ever breached the cockpit? And they don't just ask you these questions once. They're going to come back around later on and re-ask you the question in different ways. And they may even trip you. It depends on what company you're going with and what your job thing is and whether or not you're getting a security clearance, because it's even worse for security clearances. Oh, yeah, they're going to hook you up to the lie detector. Oh, absolutely. And they're going to go through your life with a fine-tooth comb. They're going back at least 10 years on you, maybe more. And depending on what family you were born into will determine what government jobs you may or may not ever be able to get due to no fault of your own, just because your mama is so-and-so, your daddy is so-and-so, your brother or sister is so-and-so, your cousin is so-and-so, your great-great-granddaddy is so-and-so. You will never be able to work at this agency. But you didn't know that, did you? Now you do. So then they ask you again. So they'll say, so have you ever thought about breaching the cockpit of an international flight? Have you ever been asked to leave a flight? Have you ever been arrested by U.S. Marshals? And then they may really get hardcore with you and be like, so the last time you breached the cockpit, how long were you detained for? And you'd be like, I never did that. You know, the old question, the trick mind game question. So when did you stop beating your wife? It's not a yes or no question, right? And then you have multiple choice. Last week, last year, last month. You know what I'm saying? These are all mind games. And unless you have taken these kind of exams before, mental stress tests before, then you don't really know how to answer some of these questions. Then they ask you other, a little bit more mundane, a little bit more lighthearted questions like, so you are working with one of your peers at work, one of your coworkers. You're working the cash register and you see him slip $100 from the cash register into his pocket. Do you A, confront him? Do you B, tell the supervisor? Or do you C, confront him and tell the supervisor? Then they'll hit you again. You think you're done with that stupid question. Then they have another one for you. So after you told the supervisor, do you distance yourself from this employee now because they're a thief? Do you call the police? You know, and you'd be like, what does this have to do with anything? Don't worry about it. But I'm not even applying for a job where I'm a cashier. Don't worry about it. Just answer the question. That's this is the world we live in now. Now, for my old heads out there who worked on Wall Street back in the day when it was still Wall Street, you remember those psychological tests you had to take too. You remember how they would try to trip you up on those exams on your Series 6, your Series 7, Series 65, Series 3. You know what I'm talking about. They ask you the same question 5 or 10 different ways, and you only got a minute and 30 seconds to answer the question. Now you think I'm being funny, but I'm not. The average time that you had to answer a question was a minute and 30 seconds. And that was considered long. If you really wanted to get through these exams, and some of them were very long, taking all day, you had to be on your game. You had to answer the questions lightning speed. And any questions not answered on the exam was considered a wrong answer. Yeah. So you would just hope and pray that you can just start clicking, you know, A, B, C, D. Now, and earlier on, there was an algorithm to it. And if my memory serves me right, I think B was the correct answer. Anything you wasn't sure about, the odds were always that the answers would be B, or you had more answers that were B than not B. So any questions you just didn't have time to get to, like let's say time's almost up and you got 20 questions left and you only got 2 minutes, just go ahead and click B for those last 20 questions. And the odds are you would get a majority out of the 20 right by clicking B. That was one of the little algorithms to pass in some of the tests, not all the tests. And that little window didn't last for so long. Once they got hip to it, people got hip to it, they changed it. So it was another mind game to mess with you. And the trip was that after you pass these grueling exams, you realize that you were qualified to do absolutely nothing. Oh, I'm a stockbroker now. I passed my Series 7. No, you ain't. Oh, I'm a commodities broker now. I passed my Series 3. You don't know nothing. You're still an idiot. All those exams are meant to do is two things. Again, mind game, number one. And number two, they're designed to pretty much keep you out of prison because the bulk of those exams had a lot of regulatory stuff in it, rules and regulations, things like that. So they're designed to keep you out of trouble for the most part. But as far as training you in the industry, that comes after you pass those exams. Depending on what you were doing, what firm you were working at, some of these programs were like 2-year programs. Some were even longer. And then a lot of them too were shorter, just a couple of months of training. But it's depending on what capacity you're working in. So those who know what I'm talking about, if you know, you know. So this is the world. This has changed. And a lot of this is what? Computerization, digitization, algorithms, artificial intelligence. It's all computer. This is all done by computer. All right. And now it's evolving to let the computer think for you, let the computer do everything for you. They want to merge humans with computers now. That's transhumanism. Why do you think they've made, they want to roll out, you know, robot maids and basically robot slaves? You need a maid to clean the house, hire, buy this robot, buy this android. You lonely? You need a loved one? Well, go ahead and buy this particular android. This one right here is designed. We call this is our wife collection. If you need a wife, and this is our husband collection. If you want a husband, this is the maids, it's the butler, whatever you need, babysitter, nanny. They're gonna have all these different androids to do all those different things, and these things already exist. If you know, you know. If you don't, then you've obviously not been paying attention. because these things are evolving very fast. Now, the massive debate over using the chat GPT for therapy, this is only the beginning, because this is really the next logical step when we're talking about health and health care. For the longest time, whether you, unbeknownst to you or not, algorithms, computer programs, software, AI, whatever you want to call it, however you want to generalize it, they have been leading your healthcare all this time without you even realizing it. Do you remember back in the day when they first rolled out the 1-800 numbers, whatever? So let's say you had ABC Insurance Company as your insurance company, and you're not feeling so well, or you're having some kind of pain or whatever. Instead of running to the emergency room, running to the urgent care center, or even getting on your phone and calling your primary care doctor to schedule an appointment, you call a 1-800 number, and that's like their nurse line. And you tell them your symptoms and stuff, and the person would, you know, advise you based on what you were telling them. And they would listen to you, and then they would ask you questions as you're talking, and they would say, yo, okay, do you feel this? Do you feel that? Is this happening? Is that happening? And based on your answers, right, they would tell you, okay, I think you need to go to the emergency right away. And they would say, call 911, have them send an ambulance, take you to the hospital immediately. This is a life-threatening condition, potentially. Or they would say, okay, why don't you do this? No, you don't even need to go see the doctor. It's what you do. All right. Take two of these and call your doctor in the morning. That kind of thing. Now that existed back in the early 1990s, believe it or not. Yes, pick up a phone, and that was your health line. You talk to a nurse, an actual registered nurse, right? And they would tell you and they would advise you on if this was a situation where you need to see a doctor, or you just have a cold and you need to ride it out. Yes, that existed for a long time. Now, prior to that, or around the same time, we'll say around the same time, in California especially, companies like Kaiser Permanente, their doctors, when you went to go see the doctor, they had scripts and they had workflow charts. That's right. You thought your doctor was actually practicing medicine. No, they weren't. They were being told what to do and how to treat you. The insurance company told them what to do and how to treat you. If the person presents with these symptoms, whatever, after examination, do A. And then if you get that result, then go to B. If you get this result, then go to C. If you don't get A or B result, then go to E. Okay, if this doesn't work, then go here. Now order these particular tests. Only order these particular tests if this, and this. That's right. They had volumes of scripts that they would have to stick to. Didn't matter what you were saying. If it didn't fit in the narrative of the script, then that would determine the level of care that you would receive. Now, back in the 1990s, I'm sure they probably scrubbed the internet by now, but that way of doing things had disastrous results. There were numerous lawsuits of people who died from heart attacks and other ailments because of that type of workflow style. Now, they settled out of court, and believe it or not, that way of doing things continued anyway in other states outside of California. So AI has been in control for longer than you realize. See, you're just not hearing the hype because they're ready to take things to the next level. But they've been doing this secretly without your understanding for a long time. AI has been running things behind the scenes for a long time. But now they just want to make it mainstream. They want to make it like right in your face. Do you guys remember when the first banks opened up, the pilot banks with no people in them? You go into the banking branch and there's flat screen monitors and all that, and there's no person. Now, if you don't remember, I'll tell some of the younger listeners. The very first pilot one, it wasn't that it was no people, it's just that you didn't see the people because they were behind a wall. They were behind the flat screen on the monitor. I know it was silly, I know, but there were people still there. And sometimes, if you were quiet, if it was like not a lot of people in there, you could hear them moving around and stuff in the walls. So imagine moving the tellers and all the bankers, you know, in the wall. Creepy, right? But that's how it was. It was really weird. So that was the beginning stages of that. The precursor to what you have now with, uh, you know, checkout lines, fast lane checkout lines with no cashier. If you're paying for credit or whatever. Then they got new speedy lines now. If you All you gotta do is just swipe, a card or what. You don't have to put any inputs on the screen. You just swipe and go. And then now, if you've already seen it with the palm, you just do your palm and you can shop and check out super fast. So this has been happening for a long time. And now you're just seeing the evolution of this. Not to mention, you really think that the FTC will win against Amazon? This lawsuit highlights a major problem in the US. Big tech companies are incredibly dominant in their markets, yet they continuously avoid getting in trouble with regulators. The reason being is because the regulators are made up of former tech people, just like the FDA is run by the pharmaceutical companies. Ex pharmaceutical executives leave the pharmaceutical companies to go work at the FDA, and vice versa. FDA officials leave the FDA to go work at the big pharmaceutical companies. This has been going on for decades. You just late to the party. DoorDash, Instacart, and Grubhub drivers say they're being booted from their delivery jobs without notice. And they claim the companies won't tell them why. So some are now seeking third party help through arbitration to fight back. Well, first of all, that's really not the whole story. Some of you can relate to what I'm about to say, some of you probably not. But the truth is that there have been a rising amount of instances where people are ordering through these places, and the driver is eating their food, either eating all of the food and then claiming they delivered it, they don't, and the person's lying, or they didn't see the order, or in some cases also, you receive the order, but you're cold, your food's freezing cold, or you can tell that some of your food has been eaten. See, that's the part they're not telling you, and that's a real big issue right now. Inside the lives of families that left the US to travel abroad as digital nomads, remote work led to people traveling the world more. But now people are taking their children with them, and the communities feel a bit like family camp. In other words, what this story is not saying is that people are starting to expat from the United States of America onto bigger and greener pastures. Because what do? At the end of the day, you go where you're treated best. All right, third up says the 4-day work week cut its corporate turnover in half. To prep for the shorter work week, ThreadUp shared that it cut 20% of its meetings. Plus, it set aside 1 day of the week to do focused work without interruption. You don't say. And in other news, a leaked Amazon Prime Video pitch deck for advertisers reveals internal metrics. Whistleblowing. The head of AI strategy at KPMG isn't worried about consultants becoming obsolete. A U.S. Army soldier who crossed into North Korea is back in American custody. What you don't know is, why would a U.S. Army soldier go into North Korea anyway? Are they running from from something or someone? Meet the 11 rising stars in influencer marketing. Yeah, the influencer thing is growing. If you guys ever saw the movie Meet the, was it the Joneses or whatever? I think that would explain the whole influencer marketing thing to you for those that are unaware. The man wanted in the killing of a 26-year-old tech CEO is a convicted S offender who got out early. So you mean to tell me that this soft on crime thing of releasing violent criminals early is not working? You don't say. Investors are pouring millions of dollars into sports, from sports betting to human movement technology. It's interesting how they like to rename things and redefine things. First of all, do you remember people tried to, big companies and organizations, especially, those in Las Vegas, they wanted to make gambling, global. They've been working on at that for the longest time. But it's only after America went into financial decline that now all of a sudden sports betting is legal. You can do it online now. You don't have to just deal with a bookie on the telephone. Snooky who breaks your legs if you don't pay him. A New York judge remained cryptic about whether the Trumps will lose their homes. That's right, folks. Everything about politics has been weaponized. Now, who would have known that politics could be used as a weapon? Go figure. TikTok Shop is offering S toys, hemp derived THC syrup, and other banned goods as it struggles with enforcement. So you no longer have to go to the deep dark web to get your taboo things anymore. Just go to TikTok Shop. And in other news, the Atlantic Festival kicks off today. The 2-day event in Washington, D.C. includes an in-depth interviews, intimate breakout sessions, book talk screenings, and more. Speakers include Nancy Pelosi, Carly Kloss, Spike Lee, and other well-known figures. Isn't that great? Well, folks, as you can tell, there's a lot of news out here, but not all the news is important or even worthy of talking about. I try to bring you the stuff that's key and critical to the day. But another thing that you need to know as we're going in, if you missed last night's end of day report, that is now being broadcast exclusively on Rumble. Just go to Postway Trading on Rumble, and you can subscribe there, and you can watch those videos along with some other videos. And also links and descriptions are in the description of today's live here on YouTube, along with some other goodies that we have lined up for you, along with our webinar today at 11 o'clock. You need to register to do that. And that link is also in the description and also on our website at pulsewaytrading.com. And as I let you go here, understand that coming into today, you have bearishness abounding. Do not get deceived by technical bounces off of critical lows in the stock indices. You have not seen the lows yet. Mark my words. And with that being said, remember to smash the like button, share the video with others. You never know who it may help or encourage or inspire. And smash that like button. Until next time, this is the Algo Capitalist signing out. Peace.